You are talking war,
but you are saying
when I defend myself against white racists and terrorists, if you are scared of them, it's none of my business, Chief.
But you are saying,
alone.
but
in
you
that
are saying,
of being scared of white people, I'm standing up to them. Yeah. I'm standing up to whiteness. I'm standing to white arrogance. I will never allow it to play itself out in South Africa when I'm a leader of a third political party. The EFF's presence in this democracy is to put racists at their own place. And we're going to do that knowing very well that we're going to be called names.
It needs to be kicked out of the country. I don't want him in South Africa anymore. He's not a South African. He can go to America and live with all those people that are the Zionists and the cabal that are trying to manage our planet. No, Mr. Ramaphosa, immigrate, go and live in America. We don't want you.
Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. In case you're new here, my name is Maren and I'm Maureen. So in today's video guys, we're going to be addressing a very important and sensitive issue in South Africa, where white South Africans have been feeling entitled to a point where they've started or they have been victimizing black South Africa. And in this video, we're all going to be seeing one element or one common factor when it comes to this kind of treatment. Right. And you guys, the only person who was willing to fight against this kind of issue, racism and prejudice in South Africa again from the white people, this was Julius Malema. And they kind of wish that South Africa had given Julius Malema a chance to walk the talk he kept on saying about white South Africans, right? Yeah. So that would beg the question, how they behaved with Malema, is that the reason why they are where they are today and right now? Because as we stand this week, a better part of this week, a video has been going viral where white South Africans burnt down a black-owned business. This is the same thing their ancestors and brothers in America did to the black population, burning black-owned businesses. Right, and the reason for this, guys, was so that they could drive out black South Africans and discourage any black person who wanted to open a business in that area. And my question is this still happening in South Africa, and South Africa, which is in a predominantly black nation? Right. There are rainbow nation, yeah, but there's a big number of black people there. Right. But guys, we don't want to talk a lot. Let's just watch this video that we put together for you, the audacity. Anyway, let's watch and then we come back and talk about it. Remember, if you have anything to say, kindly leave it on the comment section. Also consider subscribing if you have not. You can also share this video and we'll appreciate it very much. Let's watch and then we come back and talk about it.
Now, this video I'm about to show you, it's exactly what happened when you let people walk all over you, steal from you, maltreat you, even unalive your family members. You forgive them without teaching them a lesson. This is exactly what happened. This.
Don't you understand that we have our own history, our own culture, our own language, our own religion?
From your perspective, Mr. Pisaki.
No.
And it's a very narrow perspective. That's the most unfortunate part of this.
It's not a perspective. It's a real fact.
Do you care about the starving millions of African people in this country?
I care more.
Do you care about the farm workers who are being oppressed in this country? Do you care about the fact?
Don't interrupt me. I'll finish. Thank you. Bye. Take where the shit. Bye. Don't interrupt me. I'll finish. Thank you. Bye. Take where the bye. Oh boy. Okay. And you won't dare,
Mr. Pisaki.
You won't dare interrupting me once more. Take away this man.
Thank you very much. Touch me, and you'll be in trouble. Touch me on my studio.
You touched me.
Touch me on my studio. Touch me on my studio.
You touched me.
And
take away his arm.
Touch me on my studio.
Take away his arm from me.
Touch me on my studio. Touch me on my studio.
I touch you on your studio.
Touch me on my studio.
I touch you on your studio.
You don't do that.
Wait. Don't touch him. Wait.
So let's just go out.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay.
I am not finished with you.
No. Mr. Pisaki, stop threatening this woman, Mr. Pisaki. I'm telling you, stop it now.
Wait, guys.
Would you stop it now, Mr. Pisaki?
I won't stop it. You try to stop me.
Mr. Pisaki, why are you threatening this poor woman? What has she done to you? She's expressing her views.
She's talking about the capitalist whites Why do you think then she is poor?
Sorry, call security for me, please.
Don't they? I mean, if that's what you're saying, they're running away from those wonderful opportunities. Why don't they take up the opportunity? In fact, why don't you take up the opportunity? Why would you come and make your fortune here in South Africa? You could be making a fortune in Zimbabwe. Why are you here?
Because I'm part of the problem in Zimbabwe. My attitude of thinking that I had to come and take up the opportunity that was offered to me here,
so why don't you go
instead
home?
of minding
May I ask you that? Why do you not
I am
go
going home. But right now, I've also got family in South Africa. I've got South African children, and those South African children don't just allow me to just stand up and leave, but I do have projects that I'm taking part in Zimbabwe because I've learned that those resources are the most important thing.
If you have such faith in your country, in Zimbabwe, I would say and I would think you would get up and you would take your family and you would go and fix up the future of Zimbabwe. If you're saying there's land, if you're saying there's minerals, if you're saying there is so much wealth and opportunities for you there, you're living a contradiction.
No, I'm not living a contradiction.
You certainly are. By sitting here, you're living a contradiction. Because people are suffering in Zimbabwe.
So why are people not
languishing here?
Why are people not going to the Netherlands? Why are Germans not going back to Germany? Is it because their countries are bad? Is it because they're running away from problems in the UK or in the States? Why aren't Europeans going? What are you doing here?
I live here. This is my home. I'm not running away from it.
Why are you living here instead of Europe? Why did your great-grandparents come here instead of Europe?
We're not talking about grandparents. We're talking about me.
No,
we're talking about
you've made it sound like Zimbabwe needs to go back to Zimbabwe to show that Zimbabwe is working. So why are Europeans not going back to Europe? Why are Asians not going back to Asia? Why are they staying in South Africa?
The context of the conversation is that you're saying that Zimbabwe is a beautiful country with great opportunities and people have run away from there to become waiters. The context is you are living here in South Africa when you could be going back and making that country work. That's the context.
You also forgot that I was asked to come here. Somebody thought my skills were important here.
I've been asked to go to other countries, but I believe in this country.
But why don't you believe in Europe?
No, I believe in South Africa.
Why don't you believe in Europe?
I believe in my country.
Why don't you believe in Europe?
Someone said to me, if you want us to vote for you in 2024, you must abandon this thing of foreigners. Now I'm prepared to go home. Now I'm fine. I will never take a platform and denounce Africans. I will never do it. If it means votes are going, let them go. Now I'm prepared to go home. But to take a platform and please white minority by pointing a finger at my other fellow black brothers, I'm not going to do that. When I see a Nigerian or a Zimbabwean or a Congolese or Ghanaian, I see myself. I'm going to Senegal to defend a building with my body. I've never told you of AK-47. I've never told you of
you are also saying
you are talking war.
But you are saying
when I defend myself against white racists and terrorists, if you are scared of them, it's none of my business, Chief.
But you are saying
alone.
But you are saying
of being scared of white people.
I'm
standing up to them. Yeah. I'm standing up to whiteness. I'm standing to white arrogance. I will never allow it to play itself out in South Africa when I'm a leader of a third political party. The EFF's presence in this democracy is to put racists at their own place. And we're going to do that knowing very well that we're going to be called names because of racist apologists, apartheid apologists, and beneficiaries of racism. So we are not part of that nonsense.
So guys, welcome back. Let us know what you think about this episode on the comment section. One thing I want to ask you, our audience, is the clip where the palm-colored person was in an interview in the studio, and he wanted to beat the female journalist because she was asking all the right questions. So my question is, did you not know you were going for an interview in that station for you to behave? I feel like he wasn't grown enough to have the type of conversation that was being handled in that studio. And my question is, what exactly got him that angry? It's not like he was insulted. So guys, if you know what got this old man so angry to a point of wanting to beat this female journalist, even threatening her life, please let us know. For me, my opinion on this subject, I think that this is a racist who got cornered. Yeah, and I feel like what even got him even more angry was that when the lady was trying to drive her conversation, he got angry that how dare she talk. In fact, being a woman, not only a woman but a black woman, woman. How dare she? You know, and that woman was very firm in the point she was trying to drive home, that she did not let herself get bullied by this person. And I think that is what got him even more angry. But because back in his ancestors' days, when he was a kid, he'd see people keep quiet when they talk. Yeah, black people keep quiet when they talk, and this type of women, he'd have known where to place her, but not today, you know, because he'd literally get jailed for doing whatever he was thinking in his mind. Right, and then let's talk about the second interview. This white journalist who's telling the black man from Zimbabwe who lives in South Africa, right? He's telling her, she's telling him to go back to his country, back to Zimbabwe. And I'm laughing to myself, I'm thinking, look at the person, you know, look at the person who's telling a black man to go back to his country. She is as guys, you know where I'm going with this. And then let's talk about the First Lady Maureen, who was talking about their President Ramaphosa. Yeah, who was saying that Ramaphosa should go back to the US. And then I asked myself a question. Between this lady and Ramaphosa, who is best fitted to fit in with the European Americans? European Americans, you see? You get? Who is best suited to fit in with the European Americans? And you know, even the way she her accent is not totally South African. It sounds British to some extent. And then even the way she referred to Ramaphosa as zero respect, like not a living thing. She was referring to him as an it should go back to America. And I'm like, do palm-colored people forget when it's convenient for them to forget? And do they only remember, or do they only apply when it's beneficial to them? Because this is a palm-colored woman telling a black man to go back to the US. And when you go to America, the same European Americans tell black people to go back to Africa. Exactly. They're the ones who usually cause this confusion. Everywhere in the world they go, they'll try and turn the world upside down and shake it until something falls. Yeah. Another thing, you guys, in case you didn't know, all right, when you look at South Africans are proud of their rainbow nation, right? But it seems like they're the only ones who are proud of their rainbow nation. Not because the palm-colored people. Yeah, the palm-colored people, the rainbow nation, where they draw the line is if black you know, guys, you know, when black people are who are involved, but if the rainbow color entails them, there is Jewish people, the Vietnamese, the Chinese, all those, now that's a rainbow nation for them. And you guys, you know, I'm looking at South Africa, and my concern is soon enough South Africa is going to get to a point where it's going to be like Palestine. Yeah, I mean, guys, I don't know, what do you think about this? Because I feel personally, I don't know, it's just been disturbing my mind lately that black South Africans, it's like they're blinded. I don't know if they don't, other Africans, they see this coming. It's but not we don't know them, but majority of Africans, they see this coming. But I don't know if South Africans see this coming. Palestine is gonna happen in South Africa, and especially because they managed to attain their own kind of state in Orania. They have their own currency. They don't use the same currency as the other South Africans. And then the same thing wants to be done in Cape Town. Is it Cape Town or the Cape? Western Cape, yeah? They want to do the same in the Western Cape. And once they manage this, for those who don't know, Orania is an only white town in South Africa. They're so segregated to the point where they have their own schools, they have their own hospitals within that Orania. It's a white-only town. They have their own churches. They have their own language. They have their own language. And mark you, in this community, only whites are allowed to do the white-collar jobs. In South Africa. The good kind of jobs, yeah? And then only black people come to garden and do these low jobs, and then when the sun sets down, they're not allowed there. They should be out of Orania if you're looking like me. And this, you know, reminds me of the episode we did, Sundown Towns. Is that in Orania we haven't heard of incidences that black people maybe there is, but it hasn't made the news. It's been kept hush-hush. Do you remember the last week, the story that was trending where 2 white farmers killed, unalived 2 white farmers unalived black women
and fed them to the pigs.
And that story only made the news because it was discovered.
Yeah. So, you know, for them to just mercilessly serve them to the pigs like that, it means that this is a practice that they're quite used to.
Right. One thing I'll always have to say is that when it comes down to it, palm-colored people don't care for black people.
They only care for their own. And it's about time, as we always say, guys, that if you have any drop of blackness in you, imagine we need to start looking out for each other because they're going to be picking us one at a time. That is what Netanyahu said in 2015.
Yeah.
They're going to start picking these African countries one at a time.
And also when you look at the political group, the DA, and then we talked about a guy called Phil Craig. He was the guy who wanted to divide Western Cape, divide South Africa,
and he is from Britain,
and
he acquired citizenship. He's not born in South Africa. He acquired citizenship in South Africa because he's a businessman there.
Yeah. So this Phil Craig, I feel like even looking at him, you know, those type of palm-colored people who
feel like they're better than black people.
Not even that. They normally don't look like they have like a meaningful life until they get a purpose. Someone gives them a purpose to move forward. Phil Craig looks like that person, and he looks like someone who was sent by someone. He doesn't look like he
funded by somebody.
He does not look like someone who has the backbone, you know, to bring, you know, the audacity to bring these suggestions that they need to split up the Western Cape. He even looks like a coward, sorry to say. He looks like a coward. So the power behind him must be a very strong power and must have given him that
the backbone to stand on.
Exactly. Because to be honest, I can't go to somebody's house and start dictating how it's supposed to be looking, and that's what Phil Craig was trying to do. And right now, South Africans, where they got with that, they still want him deported. Why he's still in South Africa, I don't know.
But yet they managed to drive away Chidima. I feel like with the same tenacity they managed to drive away Chidima. If they were truly serious about, you know, exiting Phil Craig, they could have done it by now, you know.
They will. I know they will, because right now a lot more South Africans are getting into it, demanding Phil Craig's citizenship to be revoked, you know.
And they feel like sent back or deported to Britain.
Exactly. So you guys, let us know what you think about this episode, because I feel like at this point everybody should go back to where they belong in South Africa, starting with majority. Because look at those people who killed 2 women, who unalived 2 women in their farms.
They should just, guys, let us know what you think about this episode. And my parting shot to South Africans is, please do not allow Western Cape to be, you know, separated from the entire of the South Africa, because that will be the beginning of what is happening in Palestine. Colonization. And you know, to some extent I feel like South Africa is the experiment, because you know, the globalists,
there's a big number of palm-colored people in that region,
and so also they're looking for a way, because I had some on TikTok that most palm-colored people are looking for a way to escape their lives in America and anywhere else, and Africa is one of the prospects they're looking at.
And Africa has everything, as they say. I really wish black South Africans would have given Malema a chance, so that we could get to see him implement, you know, the plans he had for South Africans. And I know Malema would not have tolerated, he does not tolerate, all right,
any racism from palm-colored people, much less their racism.
And he puts black people forward first. You know. And he said there was a journalist who was trying to bait him, and he was like, he doesn't entertain white people, white racist people, you know. That is what he said. Anyway guys, let us know what you think about this episode on the comment section. Thank you so much for joining us. Consider subscribing if it's your first time here, and you can also leave us a like. We'll appreciate it very much. Share the video if you feel like it's going to help somebody, right? Let's catch you on our next episode.